Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about variables. What is a variable? A variable in JavaScript. First of all, a variable is a container for a value like a number we might use in a sum or a string that we might use as part of a sentence. So variable, you can think of variable as a container which contains value. For example, if I'll explain everything, but right now I'm just explaining. For example, there is a variable r and you are giving it a value of 9. So this is a variable which acts as a container. For what? Container where you can store value inside it. For example, we have taken a number in this. We might use in a sum or a string that we might use as part of a sentence. So there is one more variable s equals to 9 as well. And we want to add it both r plus s. So of course you will get 18 because 9 plus 9 is 18. So we can get the same output if we write 9 plus 9. We will get the same output. So this is just acting as a container which will store the value for us. Now that we are absolutely clear about what is a variable, let's move forward. So now, for example, if we want to use a variable, we have to declare it. Without declaring a variable, we cannot use it in JavaScript. So for example, I want a variable called hello. So it will throw a reference error that hello is not defined because we have to define it first, right? So if I'm writing const hello equals to hi, then it will give me hi. It will not throw error because I have declared it. Or sorry, this is initialized. If I am declaring also, okay, yeah, so I have to declare it first, right? And then it will not throw error. Right now it is undefined because I have declared it. I have not initialized it. Now when I am storing a value inside this is initialization. This is initialization, right? And if I am just writing let okay and console.log okay, then this I am declaring a variable, and this is initialization when I am assigning it a value. Now we can also declare multiple variables with the same keyword. For example, let okay comma hi. So I can use it like this, and then I'm consoling okay and hi, and I'll get undefined. So I can declare multiple variables with the same keyword. Now one more thing, we can initialize a variable at the time of variable creation or later, like we did over here with the keyword let. If I'm using hello, this is my variable hello. I don't want to declare, I don't want to initialize over here. So I'll go later on and I'll write hello equals to hey. So I can do this, okay? And I can write console.log hello. So it will give me hey. Now let's talk about what is the type of JavaScript. JavaScript is dynamically typed or untyped language. Okay, it is dynamically typed and it is untyped language. JavaScript is untyped language. What does that mean? This means that a JavaScript variable can hold a value of any data type. For example, if I am declaring a variable for string value, this is string data type. Okay, now if I want it to be of number data type, can I do that? Yes, I can do that. It can hold any type. It can hold string, it can hold number, it can hold boolean, it can hold of any data type. JavaScript can hold value of any data type, and you don't have to tell JavaScript that what is the type of value the variable is holding. For example, right now, can you see that I have written, like I have told JavaScript that this is of string data type? I have not, because I don't need to. JavaScript knows that this is of string data type, this is of number data type, this is of boolean data type, right? So we don't have to tell JavaScript of what data type I am declaring the value is of. So it is untyped. This was untyped language. Okay, we talked about untyped language. Now JavaScript is dynamically typed language. Why do we call JavaScript a dynamically typed language? Because the type is associated with runtime values. JavaScript values are the type is associated with runtime values. You don't have to specify types every single time. As the name suggests, variables types are dynamic, means even after you set a variable to a type, you can change it. So for example, if I'm writing let a equals to hello, and I'm writing console.log a. Okay, now if I'm writing a equals to 9, so will this like change the value? Yes, it will. So the type changed, right? First it was string, this was string, right? And then I made it a number data type. It still worked. I can change the data type of a variable. I can change it later on. This is dynamically typed language. So JavaScript is dynamically typed, also known as untyped language. So untyped languages are also known as dynamically typed languages. These are the programming languages that do not make you define the type of a variable. So they do not make you define the type of a variable, right? So that is dynamically or untyped languages. Dynamically typed or untyped languages. Some of the examples of dynamically typed languages are Python, Perl, Ruby, etc. Now JavaScript has 8 data types. The first one is string, second number, big int, boolean, undefined, null, symbol, object. And inside object, the object data type can contain an object, an array, or a date. So these are the data types of JavaScript. Now let's talk about different types of data that we can store in variables. We can store different types of data. What are the type of data types that we can store inside a variable? So let's talk about the first one. We can store a number. We saw a few examples before, so we know that. We can store of type string, hello, readme name maybe. So this is of type string. Then we can store of type boolean. We can store, so we already saw all these three. Now let's talk about arrays. We can also store arrays. So arrays are we can store for example, we have stored this. Okay, now if I want to access this particular number, how am I going to access? So let's check that out. Console.log. First let me log the entire, so this contains this. Okay, now if I want to, so this goes 0 1 2. Now let me like change the number maybe so that it's more better to understand. And if I'm writing console.log num of 0, what do I get? I get 9. So for accessing this particular thing, I have to write the index value of it. So it starts with 0, this is 1, this is 2. So if I'm writing 2, then I'll get the third one. So it works like that. We can also store objects. So for example, cats. What is the name of the cat? Let's write cutie maybe. What is the age of cat? Maybe she is 5 years old. So we can store objects. So now that you have seen the examples, you know that we can use let, we can use const. So let's discuss about them. We can declare JavaScript variables with which keywords? We const. So these are the three keywords that we can use for declaring JavaScript variables. Now var keyword is used in JavaScript code from 1995 to 2015. So I would recommend you not to use var because now we use let and const keywords. So after 2015 we are using let and const. If you want your code to run in older browsers, then you must use var keyword. Now the question comes, when should we use JavaScript const? If you want a rule in your entire code that which keyword should I use, you should use const. But if you think that your value of the variable will change in the future, then you use let. For example, if I'm writing const a, I'm writing console.log a, then this will throw error. What is the error saying? Const declarations require an initialization value. So every time you declare something with const, you have to assign it some value, otherwise it will throw error. And now if I try to change this, will it change? No, it will give me an error. So you cannot change the values of your variable if you are using const keyword. Therefore, if you want to change it, then you have to use let. And also you have to initialize your variable if you are using const. Now let's talk about JavaScript identifiers. All JavaScript variables must be identified with unique names. These unique names are called identifiers. So if I'm writing let a, so this is a unique name given to this. This is a unique name. So this is called an identifier. They can be short names or they can be more descriptive. For example, if you have a very big code and you want it to be precise what this particular variable means. For example, if you are initializing it with age, then you can name your variable as age. So this age is a unique name which is called an identifier. Now let's talk about some general rules for constructing names for variables, that is unique identifiers. Now let's see the general rules for constructing names for variables, unique identifiers. Names can contain letters, digits, underscore and $sign. Let me write them down here one by one. So the first rule is that they can contain letters, they can contain digits, they can contain underscore and they can contain $sign. So let's create a variable with such qualifications. Let's contain this is a letter. Now let's add a digit, we can add underscore, we can add $sign, and we can, this is my variable name. Will this work? Yes, it's working. So that means that I can basically use this and it will not throw me any kind of error. This looks just fine. Okay, so we can declare a particular variable with a name that contains letters, which contains digits, which contains underscore, or if it contains $signs, we can use that. Now let's talk about the second rule, which is saying names must begin with a letter. Okay, so now let me try and change this with not a letter. What will happen? Let me make it a number first. Okay, so it is throwing me an error. Unexpected reserved keyword. Let names must begin with a letter. So okay. So what error is it throwing me? Unexpected reserved word let unexpected. Okay, so you cannot create a variable with number. Okay, so now we know that we cannot create a name with a number. Okay, now the next rule is so the next rule is that names can also begin with $sign and underscore. Let's try that then. $sign age equals to hello. Okay, so it's working. Basically it is not throwing us error. That means we can create a variable name with starting with $sign, and we can also use underscore. Next, names are case sensitive. Okay, so what does that mean? For example, if I'm writing money, okay, now if I'm writing let money with a small m, so are these both different? Let's see. Console.log money, yes, so this is small one. And if I'm writing with capital M, Yes, so this is case sensitive, but I do not advise you to use like this, because of course in your code, you as a human being, it would be difficult for you to, like, you would read it as money, you would not read it as small m money, capital M money. So you should not do this, but it is case sensitive, so you can maybe also have this as many you want with different, let uh, reserved words. Next one is reserved words. So you cannot use reserved words for declaring your specific JavaScript variable. So let's try to, first of all, what are reserved words? So we know that let, const and var, we you already know about let, const and var keywords. So let me take example of those only, but there are a lot of reserved keywords which you can google it, reserved keywords in JavaScript, like that. Let's talk about const as example. So const is, you cannot use that because it is a keyword. So and can you use var? No, you cannot use that. Same goes with const, you cannot use this, you have to use something else. So yeah,